gonna edge in my heart here. The borderlines have this conscious idea about wanting to get power over you. Do they have this surging impulse inside for power because they feel they feel the intimacy starting to build in a relationship, or they're starting to feel your love, and then they can't take it, or they blow a gasket in the circuits of the brain, or it's broken, or some silly thing like that, which isn't true. But do they have this coursing through their body kind of impulsive compulsion of gotta destroy you now because I'm feeling the intimacy that I've always wanted, and you're loving me like I've always wanted to be loved? No, have you heard anything more absurd in your life yet? Have you? Because people with BPD don't receive or take in your love. They don't build emotional intimacy at all in relationships. And again, I'm here to reiterate it, to keep it real, to help you to start to focus with your codependency on how to get out of the relationship, what to do, how to move forward, and more importantly, how to get into your own healing and recovery journey, which takes place in therapy, because codependency is formidable. Just because codependency isn't called a personality disorder, I'm not saying it is, but you need to take it seriously, really seriously. But there is no compulsive, impulsive surging through the body of the borderline, receiving your love with intimacy building, because that never happens. Because they don't have a container of self to put your love into. They don't even know who they are. That's why they appear, not consciously or on purpose or to fool you, as somebody that they really aren't at the beginning of the relationship. Because they're trying so freaking hard, but they don't know who they are. And then, more to the point, when they don't have reference for self, they don't have reference for other. That means you. So all the love that you give them, the kinder you are, the more you give, there's lots of physical intimacy but none of that is who they are. None of that is them connecting with you in the shared here and now of emotional intimacy, or in a relationship, or receiving they don't receive your love. They can't take it in. There's nowhere to put it. And they don't give you healthy, adult, consistent, mutual reciprocal love at all. So again, this idea that the person with BPD is struggling with this impulse rushing through their body and a compulsion to get power over you, and that this is a response to receiving your love and the emotional intimacy connection. The emotional intimacy connection never really happens. They're not capable of it. It's not their fault. They need to go to therapy. They need to find out who they are. Arrested emotional development by the age of 2 again. Loss of self. There's no self. There's no container of self to put your love into. There's nothing to hold it. There's nothing to receive it with. And then when they don't receive it, they don't have it, they don't know themselves, and there's a whole lot else going on, they don't have love to give you either. They try, but untreated and undiagnosed, people with BPD are not after power over you. They're not trying to hurt or destroy you. They are not contagious. They are not infecting you with BPD or any of this nonsense. You're somebody with codependency, and you might not have realized that, but your codependency, it could worsen in a relationship with somebody with BPD or NPD, but it's not because the borderline or the narcissist does that to you. They can't do that to you. They're too busy defending themselves, lack of self. And when they're doing that, guess how that manifests? As projecting onto you, projective identification, and the twisting and the misperception of a lot of emotional things. And when they're feeling strong, triggered, dysregulated emotion, they don't have a sense of objectively what's happened there emotionally. Doesn't mean they lack objective reality in life in general. It's in relating. It's in the emotional arena. And so this idea that the borderline is trying to control you, destroy you, or something because when they're so touched, they never are. by emotional intimacy or your love, which they don't feel because there's no self there to take it in. So they're not out to destroy you. It's not a conscious plan. And the way these relationships start is not people at BPD doing this to you on purpose. It's not they're setting you up on purpose, because then they'd be setting themselves up on purpose. And no, as bad as people can with BPD can be in terms of relating and all of and what goes awry and how people get hurt and how they hurt themselves over and over again. It's not conscious. It's not what they want. But unless they get significant treatment, they're not going to be able to change it. And you can't drag them to therapy, and you can't rescue them, and you can't fix them, and you can't change them. But so the key message here is the takeaway is simply complex, extremely painful, and nothing you want to hear. But here it is, keeping it real to help you heal. People at BPD are not trying to get power over you. They didn't show up to deceive you. They're not trying to destroy you. They don't have a broken brain. They can't infect you. They don't induce or seduce you to do things that you otherwise didn't want to do. So here's where codependent responsibility comes in, and it's painful. But people at BPD are always trying to protect a lost self. And then a lot of stuff happens to people around them, and you're like, what? I don't want to know this, or I don't want to hear this. Maybe you want to keep the illusion and the dream going, right? Of the person that you met that they aren't, and that you're never going to know again. And that was kind of a big mirage in the first place, but it felt so incredibly good. And not only that, but it was way too good to be true. Key thing is to know, as I've said before, and I don't mind saying again, and for people that are new, keeping it real to help you heal. When the codependent, who might not know they're a codependent, meets the person with BPD, who might not be diagnosed, might be untreated and in denial and not really thinking about what does that mean for them. So it's an unconscious setup, the way these relationships start, and it's not just one person's fault. Each has to take their own responsibility in their own healing and recovery journey. But make no mistake about it, if you're codependent, they're not infecting you, they don't have a broken brain, and they're not consciously aware of what they're doing. They can't feel your love, they don't take in your love. They do not emotionally, intimately connect with you. Might physically, but even then they're half the time not even really connected, if you know what I mean. Because it might be physical and great, but where are they emotionally? I can't tell you how many clients have told me it's like they weren't even there except for the physical part. But to people with codependency, I would just encourage you to think about something. Are you settling for less? Are you following around a borderline, walking on eggshells, or untreated or undiagnosed borderline, or narcissist for that matter? You picking up the breadcrumbs? You still a slave to the intermittent reinforcement? It's good now. Okay, great. Maybe they are the person that I thought they were. Whoops, what happened? Now he or she is angry and raging and like, what? Oh, but then it's going to be good again. This is the unhealthy bond, and you're addicted to this at this point, and you're surviving the BPD relationship and then surviving the BPD relationship breakup. It depends on one thing, not 1 step, 2 steps, 4 steps, 12 steps, way more steps than that actually, but 1 step at a time. It involves you getting into therapy. So the first thing you need to do isn't even go full no contact. It isn't even get out of the relationship. It's realize what you're going through, how much you hurt, what you're putting up with, how little you're valuing yourself, how you're putting all your energy and focus into them. Start there. I work with lots of clients that come to me, they're still in the relationship. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to leave. Or they've been ghosted and discarded and whatever, and then comes back around and recycling the relationship. Because many people with BPD, not all, have these patterns now. Younger people with BPD, as all this is morphing and changing, where they're going to come and go and come and go and come and go. And then the codependent's on the other side. Okay, come. Oh, don't go. And the borderline's like, here I am. Now I'm gone. Whatever the reason. So the point is, you don't need to wait till you're full no contact or even out of the relationship before you get yourself to therapy. Invest in you. Because why do you think that you deserve to be treated so freaking poorly that you have lost all your self-worth and self-esteem, and then some. Because the answer is absolutely do not deserve that. You deserve so much more, but you don't yet know or believe that for yourself. And that's another reason to get into therapy. But whatever you do, if you're somewhere in the middle of one of these roller coaster relationships from hell, get into therapy now. You don't need to get out of the relationship first. You don't need to go phone no contact first. You don't need to think about, am I codependent or how codependent I am, or if you're in codependent denial. Just do one thing for yourself. Take a step forward to learn more. It's a process. It's multi-layered, multifaceted, and the person with BPD didn't hoodwink you or bait you into this, and you didn't know any better either, and it was an unconscious setup from the beginning. And I have another video out there where I talked about this some months ago, that when these relationships start, they begin to end at the same time simultaneously. Whether that ending is going to come in days, weeks, months, or years. You have learned as a codependent to put yourself last, or to not even think about yourself, to accept the crumbs of somebody else, to accept intermittent reinforcement. Know that you're worth so much more today. Get into therapy. I'm out here working with you if I resonate with you, and if I resonate with you, you can start working with me whether you're still in the relationship, it's on, it's off. You don't know if you're going back, you don't know if you're getting out, you don't know what's going on. You just know you're hurt. Let's start there. You need to stop focusing on the borderline. Even if you're still in a relationship, don't try to figure it out. Because guess what? It won't make sense for you. They don't know how to explain it because they don't know what they're doing consciously. They want to be loved just like you do. But like you, with codependence, people with BPD, there's an overlap there. And the thing that's similar, not the same, but similar, is both the person with BPD and the person with codependency are looking for external validation, looking for, I'm going to be okay if you love me. Do you see how that could be just like nothing but a recipe for disaster? A trauma bond, a mirage, a way too good to be true, an unconscious setup from the beginning, but that nobody plans. Hope that was helpful. Might not be what you want to hear, might be exactly what you need to hear though, because you matter and you need to start valuing you. Take care.